In this video, we will discuss conformity effect. It is people's tendency to conform to other people and social norms. Social norms are socially accepted way of doing things. They are sustained by not only approval but also disapproval. When social norms are violated, disapproval by the group stirs up the feelings of embarrassment, anxiety, guilt, and shame that a violator usually suffers. Such negative emotions impose costs on people who violate norms by speaking out. To study the conformity effect, Solomon Asch conducted a classic experiment. In the experiment, the researchers' assistants were part of the experiment. They worked with the researcher as part of the setup of the experiment, but the participants didn't know the research assistants were working with the researchers. In the conformity experiment, one participant and several research assistants were asked which line, B, C, D, or E, was the same length as A. The correct answer is C. However, when all research assistants said that D was the same length as A, the participant abandoned their judgment and agreed with the false answer a 3/4 of the time. This behavior of deference to group opinion, even when it is blatantly false, is known as conformity. Why do we conform our correct judgment to the group's incorrect one? It is mostly driven by our deep desire to receive social approval. The conformity effect is essential in shaping social norms, which bind people to one another. When your behavior is consistent with the group's social norms, you are considered as part of the group. When your behavior deviates from the group's social norms, the group members question your commitment and loyalty to the group. Copying other people's behavior is a fast way to build social rapport. Conformity leads to the homogenization of the group behavior. On the one hand, the conformity effect helps us make decisions efficiently. It enables us to use context clues to figure out what to do in a new environment. When you travel to a new country where people speak a different language, you rely on observing how other people behave to figure out what to do. On the other hand, the conformity effect can cloud your judgment and decision making. In the Solomon Asch's experiment we discussed earlier, to make the right decision, it requires the participant to challenge the basic perception and beliefs of the individuals who say X is Y when clearly that is not true. Under those circumstances, we would like to think we have integrity and we would strongly resist the group pressure that is so blatantly wrong. What actually happens when we are confronted with a social reality that conflicts with our own perceptions of the world? It turns out we are more likely to conform to the group norm than stick to our own perceptions. Our brain activities are different when we conform and when we assume independence in a group. When we conform, do we decide to go along with the group, or do we actually change our perceptions and accept the inaccurate information provided by the group? When we cave in to group pressure and yield to the group's wrong decision, our conformity is seen in the brain scan as changes in selected regions of the brain's cortex, which is dedicated to vision and spatial awareness. Surprisingly, there is no change in brain areas that are associated with monitoring conflicts, planning, and other higher order mental activities. However, when we make independent decisions that go against the group, our brains light up in the areas that are associated with emotional salience. the right amygdala, and the right caudate nucleus regions. These results indicate that resistance to group pressure creates an emotional burden for us. The researchers of this brain imaging study concluded that seeing is believing what the group tells you to believe. Other people's views, when taking the form of a group consensus, influence how we perceive important aspects of the external world. Given the conformity effect, we need to be cautious about the quality of a decision made as a group or a committee. It is only by becoming aware of our vulnerability to social pressure that we can begin to build resistance to conformity when it is not in our best interest to yield to the mentality of the group. In this video, we talked about the conformity effect. It's people's tendency to conform to other people and social norms. Now it is time for you to provide an example of the conformity effect and reflect on how it influences decisions made by you or the people around you.